Hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very, very first episode of the Fourtress of
The Matrix?
My name is Oscar.
Oh, fuck.
I will be.
I thought that was the cue.
I'm almost tempted to leave it there.
It was a suspiciously long pause. I was like,
I'm sorry. I thought I explained that that's how I would do the intro as well as later on.
Yeah.
So this one, we're not going to say the Matrix until after the news. That's when it's how it happens.
You got that, Devin?
Do it after the news.
that works.
We'll try that again. We'll try that again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of the Fourtress of. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts for today. And with me, per usual, are your other three hosts who will now introduce themselves in a less awkward way than I just did.
What's up? My name is Alex Peterson in the building. Woo!
What's up, guys? My name is Brian. I'm not going to be giving my last name out like that. I'm going to have my whole government.
Oh,
That was Brian Williams. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. Having a great time.
Hello. I'm Devin. Also very happy and excited to be here.
Yeah. What's up, guys? How you guys doing today? You guys feeling good? This is
Good.
I'm feeling good, feeling excited about, our podcast right now.
Yeah.
This is something listeners that we've been planning for a couple weeks now, but I have been also wanting to do for some time, and it's also a nice way for us to kind of talk to each other once a week, because we've been not been able to talk to each other a while, especially in the world that we live in today,
COVID-19,
aka
baby.
hell.
AKA hell.
So this is a nice way for us to just kind of talk to each other about the stuff that we love, and hopefully that you love listening to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be able to connect with each other quarantine and talking about
Yeah.
things that we love virtually.
Yeah.
And to let you listeners know, a lot of that stuff will be about film and TV and video games and many other different forms of art and pop culture. So yeah, that's what this is gonna be about. Also, if any of this seems completely irrelevant to you, don't worry, because we will catch up to your present day, whenever that may be, very soon in a couple of weeks with our time machine. So if you guys are ready, should we dive right into it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get
do
it.
it.
All right, let's dive. First things up, we're diving into the news. News. It's time for the news. This is the theme for the section we call news. That was. You think that'll stick?
I don't know. Yeah, like a
We'll
transition or
find a
something.
way.
Are you saying you guys didn't like what I just did?
I think it's a
There?
great jumping off point. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I loved Blue's Clues. Don't get me wrong. It was a great show, but
Yeah, our transitions are going to be on fleek.
The first news story we have today is a hilarious one that I saw. You guys know what the Xbox is, right? Like, we all know what that is.
I think I've heard of that.
Even if we don't have one.
Wait.
We've heard of it, at least.
Never.
But have you heard of the Xbox fridge?
Whoa. It's the Xbox that gives you the beer while you're gaming.
it's so funny he brings this
can't
up
be that.
because I'm so surprised that I'm not surprised, but I am surprised that I'm the only one that not only knows about this, but I sure did sign up for that giveaway.
Ooh.
Did you really?
I sure did sign up for that giveaway, bro. I want an Xbox fridge in this tiny studio apartment, man. It
Well, see-
looks so
Oh.
awesome.
That's great.
My goodness.
When you say Xbox fridge, I just thought it was just the shape of the new Xbox, which it is very fridge-like.
Uh-huh.
shape.
So
It's
should
a big
I
old
talk
rectangle.
about it since I seem to know so much information about
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Tell
Brian,
me
give us the
about this
rundown on the
old
Xbox
Xbox.
fridge.
So I don't know if it's actually being sold, but because at first it sounds like an April Fool's joke, to be completely honest with you. Like, it sounds like something that's not.
Yeah, you got to
real
check the
at
date
all.
sometimes.
But I was on Twitter the other day, just kind of scrolling around, and I saw that Xbox itself had tweeted this out about a Microsoft Xbox Series X fridge. And as you guys know, the new consoles are massive; they're fucking huge.
Yeah.
But they've made this entire giant, like, it's a real normal size fridge. It's not like a tiny fridge for for like your beers. It's a full size fridge, and they're doing a giveaway for it. And I signed the hell up. I'm not gonna lie. I signed it. I don't even want to play the Xbox, but I definitely want an Xbox fridge because it looks exactly like the Series X, and it's amazing.
It looks impeccable. I will give it to them. It looks like a massive Xbox, and it's hilarious.
And I love it.
The inside lights are green. They're like, they went all out with this. Here's a real working fridge. Would I want one like that? I don't think I would. I can't imagine having company over and they see that in the corner.
But what a
like,
talking piece, especially if you're like a grown adult and you have like your own house or something. And then you're just like, oh yeah, guys, you want to grab a beer or something? And it's just an Xbox. It's just, that's amazing. Like, I love it. I'm into it.
You got to be a big Microsoft person to get the Xbox.
You do,
fridge.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's so funny.
That's like the people that have the vans or whatever, minivans, and they got the decals all over it with like Nesquik or got milk. They're not all milk things, but
well, like, you know,
Right.
like there's Apple people, right? Like, you know, there's people that are like, oh, I'm all Mac, iPhone, you know, like the buds, everything. Like, yeah, Apple. Every time you guys come out with the same iPhone, just a little bit different every year, just take my money. Shut up, take my money. But like, what's the archetype of that for a Microsoft person? It's like, is it
I
just
don't know
like
about Microsoft completely, but Xbox has a toxic fandom, dude. They love everything that Xbox throws out, and
they all kind of
fight
do,
you
but
over
yeah.
it. Like, I'm pretty sure people that buy Xboxes fight children for fun. That's what they do.
It's like the people that had Master Chief like marry them at their wedding. It's
Well,
like that
guys,
kind of
I think
people.
we just alienated a section of our audience. So there we go.
Listen, this is coming from someone that loves Xbox and Halo and all that kind of nonsense. But come on,
It's
man,
true.
y'all gotta give it up.
Out of the four of us, Brian, you and Devin are probably the biggest Xbox people.
Yeah.
Probably.
yeah. I had the 360. I bought it off of a friend when he was getting rid of his or whatever. I had that for a good while. That was fun, but that was my only experience with Xbox. Just like a hot minute on the 360.
I actually just turned my 360 on the other night, and it is loud as shit. Like, it is so goddamn loud. It's so much louder than I remember. It's like a fan. It's like a room fan.
Yeah.
It's like a computer, basically. The Xbox. The
I
original
mean,
was even worse.
that thing was like, I was trying to hear the audio in the game. It's like, I gotta turn it up. There's a fan over here.
All right, so yeah, that's the end of our Xbox fridge talk. So yeah, next story we got here. This one's I feel like a little personal to you there, Brian. Halo Infinite loses its director.
Oh, ouch! Not looking good.
God damn it!
This game is the perfect storm of failure, and we're just watching it happen so slowly that I don't know why it hasn't been canceled yet. Everything that could possibly go wrong.
Infinite? How many Halos have there
Infinite.
been?
This is the sixth one. This is the sixth installment of Halo. Outside of the other extra games that they put out that also suck. They've been trying to make this game. This game was supposed to be what sold the Xbox Series X. And then they, of course, came to the whatever game conference fake COVID thing that we had where they showed us what the games look like. And the game looked like complete asshole. The game looked awful. It looked like an Xbox game, original Xbox. And people were like, y'all been working on this for 5 years? And it looks like this? So of course they were like, oh no. That was an early one. We didn't mean to show that footage. We meant to show other footage. And we're like, okay, we'll let that one slide. Whatever, it'll be fine. And then another person left of some or the other sort. I forget what their job title was, but they left for another game. And they're like, okay, we're still gonna release it when this happens. It's gonna be fine. And they're like, we're not gonna release it as a launch title anymore for Xbox Series X. And we were like, are you serious? What's happening? And they were like, okay, we're also not going to have a beta for the multiplayer for the first time ever. No multiplayer beta. That has never worked for anyone ever. Always make a beta. Always make a beta so people know what they're getting into, or you're not going to know what to fix. So they said they announced that. And now this news of another director leaving the game.
Wait, can I just say the quote he said real quick? Part of his quote was, now's a good time for me to step away.
And with that, I take my leave.
You mean when the game is not released?
When's it supposed to come out?
I'm not
When
even
the game's not done and we're like a couple months out, now's the right time for me to step away.
That's ridiculous.
Dude,
Oh,
Halo's
man,
dead,
that-
man. Like, Halo's dead. When Bungie got rid of it, I mean, like, the Embers, like, you know, the ghost of it was okay for Halo 4, like, whatever, but they should have fucking ended it there. Because now, Halo 5 was absolute garbage. Like, when they tried to do iron sights in Halo. I mean, it's not what Halo is, dude. Like,
aiming down sights is pretty goofy for Halo.
like, just keep it no iron sights, you know, keep it like a different first person shooter. It was just another example of them, you know, just like games nowadays where they just try to be like everything else and just try to everything kind of similar. Like, no, just like
Don't
you know,
don't get me started on that, man,
Wow.
because that's gonna make me so upset. But I think
No,
that
we got to
Halo's had
move
the
on.
worst-
We got to keep going.
it's gonna be bad. It's
Yeah,
gonna
we
be
gotta get
bad.
going. Halo's
Bad
had the
game,
worst
bad
identity
game.
crisis
We're
of any
all-
game ever.
We're all switching to PS5. Okay, PS5 is the way. This is the way.
That's true. In other news about a franchise that doesn't do as many movies as Marvel, but has made as much money, at least as one of their best movies, Avatar, that universe is somehow still crawling its way along. Avatar 2 news. The actor Kate Winslet, who is in the movie in a role that we don't really know what she's doing. We know her character's name is Ronal, Ronal. She's one of the sea people, but and so being that, she had to film her scenes underwater, in which case she learned to free dive and hold her breath for 7 minutes and 14
Whoa,
seconds.
no way.
That was the most she'd done. Yeah, and there's a cool picture of her underwater with these like wings. But like the fact that she did that, one, shows James Cameron is still kind of a lunatic and also maybe a genius. Who knows? But that commitment is real.
Damn.
And that's insane because like that's dangerous as well. Because like Tom Cruise had to do that for Mission Impossible 5. I think he had to hold his breath for at least 4 minutes.
Shit.
And then he talked about it afterwards, how it's like it's dangerous because you have to slow your heart rate to such a slow pace. And then afterwards, after he was done filming and just going on his normal life, he found himself not breathing on his own. Like he had to physically reteach his body to breathe automatically.
Jesus.
He had to breathe like, and I was like, nope, I don't want to learn how to do that. That sounds terrifying.
That's crazy.
That's kind of weird because, like, you feel like Kate Winslet is definitely that, like, A-list status where she could just be like, nah, to something like that. But the fact that she's like in for it, like, yeah, I want to do this.
Well,
yes,
it's also
I want
like
to almost
it's
die.
her and James Cameron again. Like they worked on Titanic, so she's probably loves him. And
Oh, wow,
everything.
that's
So they
true.
probably have a great relationship. So she's probably like, I'll do whatever. You're a genius.
Yeah, that's
Here for the,
bonkers.
Yeah.
the craft. That makes sense, I guess.
When is the first one supposed to come out? Because, like, I thought it was supposed to come out like years ago.
Yes, I'm pretty. This movie was delayed probably for like 4 years now. I think it was originally supposed to come out because the first one came out in what 2012.
Yeah, it might have been
Something like that?
2010. It was like freshman year of college, I feel like, for us.
Yeah,
right?
it was
Something
it was
like
like
that.
I was in high school.
Maybe
It's
it was
been
senior year of high school.
minute.
Actually,
It's been
Yeah.
at least 10 years, maybe 11.
I
Yeah.
feel like 2010.
And-
Bet money.
Bet money.
Yeah,
Are you betting with the audience or with us?
yeah. I'll bet with the audience. I got $12.
2010.
Instead of
All
just looking
Something
it up
that we
like
could-
we all could, because
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
we
look
could
it up
literally
right now.
look it up right now.
oh man, we have the technology.
It's an audio medium. They can't see us. We can cheat at
Ooh,
this.
2009.
2009.
2009.
Oh, I should have taken the
Damn.
bet. Damn.
Damn, it was earlier than we
I was going
thought.
to take 2009.
And then James Cameron said he only wants to make these kind of movies for the rest of his life because he's a psychopath.
Yep.
That's right.
He's gonna. Yeah.
James
that and
Cameron
his
doesn't
submarine.
do what James Cameron does because he's James Cameron.
To be fair, he hasn't really ever made a bad movie.
Yeah, he's pretty
Like-
solid. He's got a great track record.
Like Avatar, say all you want, like is a visual masterpiece. Some would say, like it's
Mhm.
it's visually incredible to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
hello, Terminator.
Oh, I know. Like I'm just saying, like Avatar is probably like his worst, like plot wise film.
Really? Avatar? No,
Whereas-
no way.
Because it's a stolen plot.
Terminator's got a great story. Aliens is great. Titanic's got a good story. I mean, yeah.
What-
It's not
what-
written-
And
what'd you say?
Avatar's probably the weakest plot.
It's Dance with Wolves.
Yeah, it's
It's Dance with
Pocahontas.
Wolves,
it's
It's not. It's
Pocahontas.
not the most
It's
creative.
not original. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not the most original. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's. I mean, I like that movie for what it
It
is.
was-
I enjoy that movie.
I
Yeah.
have no interest to watch it again, but sure.
I liked it. It was
Yeah,
pretty good.
I'll definitely see the second one when it comes out.
Yeah.
Will it make $1 billion or whatever? How much it made?
Probably.
No, I don't think it'll make
it
as much
probably
as the
won't
first time.
beat it. I'll tell you that much.
All right, let's move on. This is one that's mostly I'll be the only one to care about, so it'll be very brief because it's about the Justice League and the Snyder Cut. Dun, dun, dun.
Yay.
They're bringing back Jared Leto's Joker and Joe Manganiello, character Deathstroke, who this movie is just an entirely new thing. It's not even it's kind of more proof that the Snyder Cut never really existed and it was just a figment of everyone's imagination. And now they're just making it. They're making it now.
They're just
They're
making a
making it
movie.
for millions of dollars. They're just making another movie and cutting it in 4 hours.
Wow.
I'm excited just because I feel like Jared Leto, he's a weird dude, but as an actor, I think he's a really good actor, and he didn't get, I feel, a fair shake in that Suicide Squad movie. And so I'm excited. I'm also excited to see him have hopefully a scene with Ben Affleck's Batman. I'm hoping that's why they're bringing him in, because we never got that, and I at least want to see that because I'm curious. That's just me,
Yeah.
though.
No, I think you're right on the same track as a lot of people kind of feel with that. People that care about this kind of stuff, definitely. Because everyone's gonna, with the Joaquin Phoenix and all those other Jokers, Heath Ledger, of course. Jared Leto seems like some dick, but he's as much as I hate. I don't want to say hate. As much as I don't understand method acting, Jared Leto's he's a great actor. I think he really has a lot of potential, and I think that he just wasn't given the fair shake at even trying. Because the way that they like shot out his character for the show, for the movie rather, and like talked about it so much and like used them in all of the advertisements, and then he was in like collectively 10 minutes of the movie. That was ridiculous. That was really goofy. So
yeah,
I'd love to see it. I'll probably never watch it.
That just speaks more to like what a train wreck Suicide Squad was. They were the first.
It was an
one.
absolute train wreck.
But I mean, like honestly, it wasn't a bad direction because it's like we've seen the maniacal good. Like we've seen the Joker so many times in a similar form. I kind of liked that they were trying to do something different, even though it just kind of it was kind of flat. But like. If they could maybe develop it more, but I mean, I like the more kind of gangster Joker as opposed to like the high classy criminal kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, in 4 hours, I hope to fuck that they are able to give him some more character.
They're cramming everything they can into these 4 hours, man. My goodness,
just make a TV show at that point, bro.
Jesus.
Good Lord.
I'll be honest.
I'm all for it. Give me more.
I'll be honest. I can't remember the last DC movie that I saw.
You're going to get through them all there, buddy.
They just keep disappointing me. They just keep disappointing me. So I just stopped.
Damn sure we're going to get through those movies at some point.
Can we skip Suicide Squad? I don't want to see Suicide Squad.
Nope, you got to suffer. You got to suffer through it.
It's so bad.
You got to see the origin of the Jared Leto Joker.
Oh, man. I am excited for the new Batman movie, even though it looks kind of goofy.
I am too. All right, our final story, and this is the perfect segue into our main topic for the day. Guys, there's a 50% chance we're living in a simulation right now, apparently.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I mean, anything is possible at that point in this year. I would just like to say that this player sucks. They're not good at this game. They should hand the controller over.
Yeah, whoever's playing, let's just get a reset going real quick.
They need a game over and something.
Especially this year, I feel like it's like Neopets, and our players stopped playing, and I'm starving because they haven't fed me.
Man.
We're a Tamagotchi.
What do? You gotta like shake them to feed it or something.
We're struggling, man. We ain't got batteries in us anymore.
Oh man.
Damn. So funny.
It's like The Sims, and everything's just like your whole town is just crumbling. You're just like scrambling, like please, like just get some rest.
We're in the pool, and they took away the ladder to get out of the pool, and we're just endlessly swimming.
Oh, that's good.
We talked about it a little bit before we got on the actual podcast, and I think most of at least me and Oscar tried to read the article, and it's dense.
That fucker's dense.
Very dense.
I got nothing from it, but it still scared me.
I mean, that stuff is, that's like Neil deGrasse Tyson. You get where these ultra really smart mathematicians and physicists and stuff, they all get together and like, well, hypothetically, we could like, well, it's like, we can't say that we're not in a simulation, but like, here's what would happen, if we were in one. So it's like, like not probably.
How can you say anything? I feel like you could say absolutely anything. It's 50-50.
Yeah, then they can.
Like there's a 50% chance that it's going to.
Whenever you throw in like multiverse theory, where it's like, oh,
maybe
there's multiple universes, so you can just make up anything you want. It's like, well, in some universe, this is a simulation. It's like, what?
So they did talk a little bit about that with Elon Musk, because apparently Elon Musk said there was something like he said there was a higher chance we were in a simulation, like a 75 or 99% chance.
He's like, I'm running it.
I wouldn't. If Elon Musk is playing our video game, we're fucked. We're done for.
You got to show me the math on that, bro. Show me the math.
The whole thing is goofy. But if you ever wanted to put your stomach into your heart or your heart into your stomach, think about the fact that none of this might exist, and this might all be nothing, and you might wake up.
Well. But even if it was all real, it's the same thing.
just flip a coin, and if it lands on heads, it's a simulation.
All right. Well, that's the news, guys. We did it. We got through the news. On to the main topic for the day. But guys, the only problem is I don't know where we are. We're not in the fortress that I'm used to. It seems to me that we're in the fortress of
the Matrix.
The Matrix. Fuck.
we did
the Matrix.
The Matrix.
Yes, listeners, we are in the fortress of the Matrix. part 1. This week, we will be talking about the 1999 film The Matrix as well as the Animatrix. We're going in some kind of sequential order there. And so, yeah, that's why we're starting with those two. Right off the top, spoiler warning for all of that. The Matrix and the Animatrix, potentially Matrix 2 and 3, but probably not. So just, if you haven't seen this 21-year-old movie, pause this right now. Go
And
into
go
your
watch
closet,
it. Like, what the
find
F?
find a DVD, and then rob somebody for a DVD player,
Watch The
and then
Matrix.
put it in, watch it, and then come back and listen to us talk about it. So yeah, spoiler warning. Okay, bye. This movie's great. Let's just say that at the top. Overall feeling, this movie's pretty still rock fucking solid.
Legendary.
Goat status.
Yeah, we'll get into it. So let's start with a brief synopsis of the movie. What is The Matrix?
What is The Matrix?
The Matrix, it's hard to believe that we know what this is, because I can imagine seeing this for the first time in theaters and be like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
But but The Matrix is basically, very quick, is about a man who is a hacker, and he thinks he's in the real world, finds out he's not in the real world. The real world sucks and is being destroyed by machines who have put all these people in a computer, basically. And his goal now is to save the world from those said machines.
Man, that was really clean cut.
I told you. This movie's 20 years old. Everyone knows what The Matrix is.
That man went real simple about it, but sure, for sure.
His name is Neo. He's the one. Yeah, because we're about to spoil it, so I'm not gonna do a whole spoiler of the plot. So it's like just a brief plot is it's to save the world, and it's a world within a world, and his name is Neo.
Human batteries. That's important.
Human batteries.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What a concept.
Right.
That's what we have to
crazy.
look forward to, guys. That's our future.
I mean,
Is it not already?
Yeah, is it
like
kinda
we
already?
talked in a couple seconds ago, that might be our
We're
future
pretty
now.
plugged in. Everybody's plugged in.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, let's just start, because this movie is so iconic. Let's start with that first sequence real quick. I just want to talk about the introduction of Trinity.
Oh man. The most badass character of the movie.
Right. And
Yeah.
like she's so like that kick became such like a
Yeah, she like
by
gets her
meme.
arms up like a bird or swan or something.
Yeah.
right. That became such a parody of itself.
totally.
Like in every movie afterwards. Like that's in Shrek. You know it's like hit. Like what the why is that in Shrek?
It's in Shrek. It's in Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's so
Right. But it's such a cool sequence
Yeah.
into an intro into that world, because you have no idea what is happening. Why is she wearing garbage bags? It looks like because she's so slick looking.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Does she know it's
And
not sunny?
that
Why does
cannot-
she have sunglasses on?
I'll tell you, that
Right.
had to slow her down. Like she would have gotten to the exit so much faster, and like she would have gypped the agents away. Like if she had just been wearing like some joggers, you know, but wearing this like skin tight leather suit. It's gonna slow you down a little bit as you're like running across rooftops and stuff.
Also, it squeaks a hell of
It's
a lot.
like,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
it's
hard
like
to-
worse than leather. It's like latex. Like she's dominatrixing through the fucking Matrix right now.
She's
It's like
wearing a giant condom suit.
you can't do anything. There's no way you can do any kind of physical maneuvers in all of that. I don't know.
That's why she has to do it in slow mo, because it's the only way she can.
Yep.
Without
She's like, I
ripping.
need time to do this, guys. Hold on.
Also, sunglasses at night. This is a big sunglasses at night, like, movie series. Like people just wear sunglasses all the time, like all the time,
Right,
every time, all the time. It's just
All the
weird.
time.
Everyone's just Pitbull. They're always wearing. They're never not wearing sunglasses. Yeah, so it's cool. I still don't understand her like hand thing. I don't fully understand what that's about. She does it
Oh,
later
yeah.
in the movie at the end
Yeah.
as well.
Oh really?
I still don't
That's
know
when she
what
like
that's
picks up the phone finally.
And
And
it's
she puts
like-
her hand on the glass as
Yeah.
the car's about to hit her.
right. Yeah, she
It's-
does it also at the end when Smith shoots he's about to shoot her and he blows up the phone and she just barely gets out, and right before the Neo fight with him,
Yeah.
she does it up against that payphone as well. I was like, what are you doing?
I think it's just
I
like
don't
a
know
gut
what that
reaction.
means.
I'm gonna blame it on just film. Like that's hands in the foreground. That's just like a super good look. Like
Yeah.
let's just like
No, true.
get a close up of her hand in the foreground
Right.
Get a good shot
just because
there.
it looks cool.
Yeah.
I think it was just an actor kind of. This seems kind of cool for me to do this thing, and then they were probably filmed around the same time because movies.
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah,
Right.
I'm scared. Ah.
Like her hand's obviously not gonna stop anything, but she had to do something.
But I don't know though. There was this one time that I was driving and a woman walked during a green light when she wasn't supposed to, and she sure did put her hand out as if that was going to stop me from killing her in my 2,000-pound death machine of a vehicle.
But Brian, did you kill her?
Natural reaction, I guess.
I was about to say, did she stop or are you a murderer now?
Brian, did you run over this lady?
Should we
Find
stop
out
this
next
recording?
episode.
Is Brian on the run from
No,
the
I
law?
stopped and I let her go.
All right, we talked about that opening because I just wanted to get that intro to the world.
Yeah.
Let's just dive right into this whole concept and everything that Morpheus just blabbers onto Neo in that scene where they're just sitting in the chairs, and he basically tells him, "You're a battery and a slave, and also there's big squids that just own
Squid
us,
machines.
basically."
And
Machine!
then he-
Yeah, it's
the red pill or blue
it's-
pill. What are you gonna do, Neo?
right. I mean, he goes for it. I'll give him that. He goes for it.
I'm gonna drink that whole glass of water.
Yeah, he drinks a entire glass of water. He chugs that
It's
shit.
a really uncomfortable amount of water for one pill.
That was so funny.
Did you see the size of that pill, man? I mean, come on.
I take a lot of pills in my personal life, and that man drinks a lot of water for that one pill.
I think he was just
I mean,
committed. He's like, Morpheus, I'm going to show you how much I want this red pill. I'm going to have the red pill and this
Right.
whole glass of water.
You don't know how much I want to get out of here. I'm going to show you. It's the only
I'm
way I know
so
how.
ready.
I think that's just one of those Keanu Reeves things where it's just kind of like you gotta
Yeah.
love him 'cause he's so fucking awkward. as a
Right.
human
Yeah,
being.
That's a huge thing in this movie. That's the theme of this movie. Is just Keanu Reeves just kind of being bewildered by everything around him. Like, whoa.
Man.
I mean, yeah, he really was like, considering he wasn't the first choice, he really was perfectly cast as
Morpheus?
the whoa guy.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
This is
So
me.
like, did
I know
that like? I honestly don't remember. Did that like blow your minds when you first saw it? If you even remember, like thinking about the fact that when he shows it on the little tube TV and it just shows the black sky and he's explaining that they're all batteries and you just got that big sweeping shot of all the humans in those pods. Like I honestly don't remember my first thought when I first saw this movie.
Yeah, I think it took me like the third time of seeing it because this came out when we were kind of young. I think I
Right.
like saw it on DVD the first time.
Yeah,
I was like hype about seeing like
Yeah.
an action flick, and I was like, "What is like? I don't understand anything
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
talking about."
I don't even think I knew what. I didn't know that the word Matrix was a word. I thought it was just
Yeah.
a movie title.
I didn't quite get it until the second time I saw it. I was like, "Wait, there's a lot like going on in here." And then I watched it again. With the second and third one, I was like, "Whoa, this is complex."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think I had the maturity to really like deal with it when I first saw it because I think I just used it as back then you just like fast forward to the action sequences and just skip through it. Like what you
Right.
saw through it once, but like after that you just go back through and watch. At least I would go back through like all my favorite movies, just watch the action sequences. So I don't think it I know it was like dark and it kind of disturbed me a little bit as a kid because you just don't want to think about a future when you're like a teenager. You're like.
When you're 10, you don't want to think.
Yeah,
about
it's
the
like, wait,
future.
like, all these, like, everything's dead and, like, oh my God, like, the machines were, I don't know, I'm just not going to think about it that much, like, that's kind of what it is back then. But, as an adult, you come back, you're like, oh, this is actually probably how it's going to go in about
This
10
is how
years.
we're
Like,
now.
It's looking a lot more real. Right?
This looks really
Yo, this
realistic.
Matrix might not be so
still
bad.
not
I'd
as,
rather go
still
in
not as
there
bad
and-
as climate change.
Listen, I mean, this movie came out what 99. I
Yeah.
was 7 years old. I was 7 years old. When this movie
Right.
came out. I was still happy-go-lucky and did not understand that the grievances and the issues that were gonna befall upon me. Of course, growing up in life. So I was like, this is super cool. I can download Kung Fu. This is awesome. Not realizing that in
I know
real
Kung
life,
Fu.
I'm actually getting fucked by these
Right.
stupid robots at all times in the real world. But in the inside world, I know Kung Fu. So that's pretty
Right.
cool.
I do love all of their like terminology, like how they made like a new use for the when she says when Neo gets the gross worm in his stomach, which we'll talk about.
Oh man,
God,
that was the
That's
worst scene of the movie.
fucking the worst
Ugh.
nightmare-inducing scene as a child
Creeps
is
me out.
because it also on top
Ugh.
of his mouth like not being able to open and it
Mhm.
just looks so gross. Ugh, that
Ugh.
scene gave me nightmares.
The Wachowskis, one of them definitely had a whole nightmare that was that, and that's why that exists in the movie, 100%. Because I think that's where a lot of people get their creative ideas, and that is something
True.
that's definitely in nightmares.
True.
That's not
Right.
normal.
Yeah.
Ugh, Why is it always bugs? Like,
I hate
what
bugs.
the fuck?
Especially ones that go on my belly. You know, I have
Right.
me and Alex. We have belly button issues. We don't like the belly
Yeah, I
button
don't fuck
stuff.
with the belly button.
I have a real strong rule about my belly button. It's probably because of that movie, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, like how when later when they get it out of him, they think I think it's Trinity or Switch. I don't remember where they say we think you're bugged, and that's just like a funny like twist on like when people say they bugged someone's phone. It's like you're literally
No,
bugged
you
now
actually
with the
have a
tracker.
bug.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is awful.
Yeah, that's pretty deep.
I do want to ask a question actually. Do you think these people get to pick their names, or do you
Absolutely.
think
I
they're
think
like
so.
Get out.
Like if
Well, because like he goes by Neo as a hacker in the Matrix.
Yeah.
So you would assume that all of these people went as these names in the Matrix before they got out. So do you think they got to pick their names, or they're like, "Yo, I'm gonna be Tank," or
Yeah,
"I'm gonna be
So are you
Switch"?
saying is that our gamer tags are
I think if they're in the Matrix and they get out, like Trinity, Neo, Morpheus, like Tank and Dozer were born in Zion, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
they were given those names, but everybody else who was a hacker, like Trinity was infamous in the hacker world, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right,
So-
right.
Morpheus was like a terror. Like they had his name beside like some like Arabic writing, which is topical.
Right,
for
he's most
the
wanted.
time it was made.
Sort of, yeah.
That's more. Yeah, it's kind of more the time period of the movie was made in it more than anything else. But
Yeah.
what was his?
Yeah.
What was Mr. Anderson's first name? Was it like Thomas or something?
Thomas. His
It
name
was Thomas?
Thomas Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, Thomas A. Anderson. I don't know what the A stands for.
asshole.
The whitest name of
Mr.
all time,
Anderson.
other than like Daniel Smith.
What is your middle name?
Thomas
Um,
Anderson. That is
All
white
right, so
as hell.
my follow-up question is like, what do you guys think? What would you call yourselves? Would it be your
Ooh.
gamer tag?
They're gonna call me Big Dick Daniel.
Just got weird.
Jesus.
Hey Neo, we need to get Big Dick Daniel.
Like,
Neo. Yeah.
I mean, like, if you can pick what you want, like, why did they pick? Like, they clearly
Switch.
they're so fun. There's some funny names.
Yeah.
Cipher. They're all like very tech based.
Hmm.
But I'd be like, what if one guy was like, "Hey, I'm Phil." It's like
You just-
I chose Phil.
My name's Jefferson.
Do you think Oracle picked her name?
Oh, that's
she a
well, she's a
program.
program, so she's
Yeah, she just goes.
different.
She's Oracle.exe.
She just
She
goes by
just-
what
yeah.
everybody else. Like,
Devin, what would you pick as your name?
I do something like, I don't know, mythology or something. You know,
Oh, he's gonna be Zeus.
He's gonna be.
This asshole.
Helios. I don't know.
Helios. That's
I don't know. You look.
Poseidon.
Yeah.
I do love me some.
You look kind of like a cipher.
Just call yourself Nebuchadnezzar and just Alpha Morpheus. Be like, well, wait, that's the name. No, it's my name now. So you got to change
Right.
your name.
my name.
Right. Can you steal someone else's name?
Everyone calls me.
You have to fight them for
Nebuchadnezzar.
the term.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's
It's a good
funny.
question.
I was thinking it's gonna be more like now, where if your name's taken, you have to just add numbers to it. So just be Morpheus
no.
1992.
What's up? I'm
1991.
Neo 2. I'm 1 2. Continuing where Morpheus drops a bomb on Neo. I don't know. I mean, there would probably been times where he'd seen this concept before, but at the time, it's like it blew people away, and it still holds up as a really solid. And it's clearly influenced so many things since, not just in like story stuff, but also all of its technological feats that it fucking accomplished at the time.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see Bullet. I mean, you saw Bullet Time like in every fucking movie afterwards
Yeah.
for like 5 to 10 years.
Max Payne, a video game.
Oh my
Had
god.
bullet
Right.
time. That was the first video game to put
Mhm.
bullet time in it after
Mhm.
that movie came out. That
That's
was because
true.
directly because of that movie.
Yeah, they kind of standardized a lot of like film and video game techniques that you still see today. Like they're already doing slow motion in movies before The
Mhm.
Matrix, but afterwards it definitely was like a staple for the action genre.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They introduced slow-mo to the big screen, but like massively, and also lots of black trench coats.
Oh man, yeah.
Black suits everywhere afterwards.
Yeah,
That's why
everybody
the
tried to
X-Men
copy it.
franchise is nothing but them wearing boring black suits and stupid.
Wow, I never thought about that actually. The fashion.
Yeah.
I just wish they had like kept
Uh,
up with that, for the next two, because like the CGI and some of the CGI in Reloaded was just so atrocious. Like in the Smith fight, like his cape just does whatever that like clerical.
I mean, yeah, they in the future they weren't as successful with it.
It was
but
a product of its time, where it comes down to when they
Yeah.
stop using that kind of where it's like, we're using practical effects.
They
And they're
stopped
like,
it. Yeah, it was less practical.
CGI was really cool at the point in time. We thought it was really, new age, but it
We
wasn't.
thought wrong.
We thought wrong for sure, and it didn't last
Right.
up. You know how
It
goes.
also
We'll probably say the
introduced
same thing.
sunglasses, like we said. Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of sunglasses indoors.
But that, like, I mean, that one bullet time, like shot of Neo like dodging backwards. That's got to be like top 20 like most iconic scenes
Oh,
of all
yeah.
time.
I'd say top 5.
Yeah,
That's like top 5
maybe
most
so.
iconic
That's a great
movie
scene.
moments
Man.
of all time. Like,
Like, yeah.
and the way how they did it with all like the camera setup, the multi-camera setup, and it's basically just pictures milliseconds apart. And
What you can do with your iPhone right now, but they had to buy thousands of dollars.
But it would cost thousands and millions of dollars in 1999.
I think they did the same thing with Trinity's Kick.
Yeah,
Which is interesting. And for Trinity's Kick, she's literally frozen, and they just built a ring with all the cameras. But for Neo, when he's doing it,
he's moving.
Aren't his arms moving a
he's
little
still
bit?
moving. Yeah, no, he's definitely still moving.
So did they?
Yeah.
Did they like do that same thing? Like
Yeah,
several
well,
different times, different arm positions, I guess.
So what was happening? I'm pretty sure they just put a array of cameras around to get like that amount of FPS, probably for like 120 something like that to get that slow mo. So you have 120 cameras around, and they all take a picture while he's moving. And
yeah, they don't all take them at the same time. They take it fractions of seconds apart from each other.
Okay.
So they just had him do those or the stuntman, I can't remember. They had that person do the movement, and then they just snapped all those photos and then stitched them all together with CG.
Yeah. The technology is much easier now, but back then that was like.
I mean, that still
it looks
like a pretty,
it still
really
looks
like affordable way to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for Trinity,
probably
it makes more
pain in the ass
sense.
for
I
setup,
feel like
but
for Trinity, they just take all the photos at once. But for Neo, that's a really good idea. Yo, you could take this movie to film school and fucking
oh my god,
go to town right there.
I'm surprised it's not in there. Honestly,
I'm
surprised it's not a whole class about it.
We actually studied that scene that we're talking about in my editing class. We had to do like a little sound editing engineering thing where we like just took out the audio of the whole scene and had to make our own like Foley audio. It was super fun.
That's super cool.
That would be cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's basically like it's kind of like it's like the most expensive stop motion you've ever seen.
But also the most
stop motion, but with real people and make it slow.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, on top of that though, like like this movie was all about the action sequences, dude. Like, like it kind of like
it's got some of the best. Like after the opening, the next big one is the fight between Morpheus and Neo, which is awesome and pretty much, I'm pretty sure, entirely practical, which is amazing.
Yeah, lots of ropes and stuff, but I don't think there's any CGI.
Yeah, it's all pulleys, and which is why they all got so fucking hurt. Like Keanu Reeves, like what did he have? He had like he had a 2-level fusion of his cervical spine like a couple months before this. He didn't get it from this scene. But it's the reason why in this scene he usually mostly only throws punches and not as many kicks because he couldn't fucking kick because he just had his spine fused.
Whoa,
that makes sense.
Spine? What does that even mean? Oh
I mean,
gosh, it sounds bad.
Yeah, it's a lot, and
it's
the fact that he still kept training like months after that,
that's
like
dedication.
and he's clearly a super dedicated guy.
There's a couple shots in there too where he looks kind of like his back is kind of stiff, like
he's
the way
very
he's
stiff.
moving. So that's interesting. I'm gonna have to rewatch that part. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't. He only throws like a couple kicks in the entirety of this movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's why. They all got hurt. I think Trinity like broke her leg. I'm pretty sure she broke her leg in like all 3 of these movies.
Oh my gosh.
Or at least twice.
After each
I think she broke the same foot twice.
Dang.
Both trying to do that weird like scorpion kick thing with which I think she only does like once or twice anyways. Which
and
is
this is
why.
And also, that is like one of the dumbest moves because it wouldn't like that would just be like a tap on the forehead. Well, I guess they're a little bit stronger, but still, like realistically, that would just be like, oh, okay, like you just that hurt, that nudged me a little bit. I felt that, but like you'd be, it wouldn't actually do anything. I don't know, but they're a little super strong.
But you have to think that like I think once because like Neo clearly has like strength and so does more. But like so I think a lot of them, depending on how like I guess focused you like are kind of super strong, sort of in a way.
Right. I mean, it just looks
like
really
Morpheus
cool. A lot of the stuff
breaks those
cool.
chains and has that giant like Hercules moment when he screams and he snaps those chains off. So like, there's clearly some enhancement there.
The chains aren't real. There is no spoon.
There is no spoon.
There's no.
Yeah, I mean the way Mr. Anderson puts Neo into a wall, through a wall, and he's just like chilling. That will knock out the average human being.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right.
Like,
I would be knocked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that fight scene, let's just talk about that fight scene. That fight scene is incredible because it's got the gunplay at the beginning, and then they're both
Oh,
lying there
so
with
cool.
empty guns pointed at their head. And he's like, "You're empty." He's like, "So are you." It's like,
Yeah.
ah. That whole fight scene is so cool. It starts with the little like the
so
Western
cool.
wispies. At the
Oh,
beginning with
yeah.
the newspaper.
That's such a great one.
Like an old Western.
Yeah, little
Right.
wispy.
The best part's the throat punch, the throat chop.
Yeah.
With the knife in your mouth. I remember
Extends the
trying to do
thumbs
that
out.
to like other kids in middle school. Like,
Dude,
yo, let me punch you
everybody,
in the throat. real
Everybody.
for the
time.
audio listeners that can't see what we're doing with our hands, we're talking about the thing where he punched him, and then when he missed him with the punch, he just put his fingers outward.
Like Smith catches
Yeah.
it,
Hit him in
and
the
then
neck
Neo
with
just
it.
sticks
Catches
his
it.
fingers out and catches him in the throat, and he's like,
That's some anime ass shit, dude. I'm
It's such
telling
a
y'all.
yeah. It's really it's like, and this movie's filled with those like cool like little creative bits that you had never seen.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sure there were other people like Brian. You said it was probably in an anime at some point before then, but like to mass multi-millions of people, it's like, whoa, I'd never seen that before. That's kind of
Yeah.
that's cool and
to Americanize
inventive.
that kind of to make a honestly the Matrix, and this is a hot take right here for anybody that's wondering about this.
Uh-oh, here we go.
As an anime lover, this is a hot take. This has been the best live action anime film to ever exist. I said it right there. Boom. Boom. Explosion
Wow.
sounds
Better than
bah!
Scott Pilgrim?
He just
Fuck
dropped
anything
the
that's
mic.
ever been remade. The Matrix has done it better in every single way, including the action. Nothing else can get the action right the way that the Matrix did, especially the first one.
Would you consider Scott Pilgrim a live action anime?
Would you say would I consider Scott Pilgrim an anime?
Yeah, would you consider Scott
No.
Pilgrim a live action anime?
No, I consider it a video game. They're different.
Well,
they're
it started
different.
as a video game, but the movie, I think the movie is very anime-like.
It takes. I mean,
Well, it's very
video game and anime
gamey,
are very
so
much
it's-
in the same kind
yeah.
of media form.
There's definitely parts.
That's
of it.
fair.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I love Scott Pilgrim, so I appreciate you
That
bringing
is a
that
great
up.
movie.
Even
Yeah.
I even love what's his face.
I like to think that they drew inspiration from the Matrix.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, what does it come from? Whatchamacallit, a
book?
comic, which is basically just manga. And when you come down to it,
Word.
Right.
Yeah.
what do you call it when it's not manga in America? I'm struggling with words right now.
I thought it was just a comic.
No, not comic. When you want to sound adult about it, what the fuck do you call
Oh,
it?
a graphic novel.
Graphic novel. Thank you. It's a graphic novel.
When you want
Like
to
an
sound adult about it.
It's a fucking comic. It's just 100 pages. Like
A bunch of people just got offended and turned us off right now.
And we're
Listen, get your
canceled.
feelings
I read
hurt.
comics.
We are canceled. That fight scene, the last thing about it is like, that it's so I love that shot where he shakes the dust off and then he, forms up.
Oh,
into
yeah.
That
The first
is-
time he does the come here, or after, like once he's learned what it actually means.
Yeah.
Come get some hand gesture that everyone mimicked.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
that
No,
got
he does
parodied
that. He
too.
does
That
that
thing
with,
got so parodied.
with Morpheus, too.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
like, I got this shit.
That little hand motion
Right.
got parodied so hard.
It
I mean,
did.
so many things from
Yeah.
this movie.
I
got
don't think I've
parodied.
ever been so cool to flex the dust off me, though.
Oh, that was so
Because how do
awesome.
you
I do that every morning.
That's how you wake up.
Wake up like,
You think they
Why
like
your bed so
they like
dusty?
extra dust
I
him
gotta-
up
I
before
gotta
they
change
took
my
that
sheets.
shot? Like they
They
just
have to.
pour dust on him to make it look even better.
Yeah, I am curious as how exactly. Is there like a guy behind him that just goes poof and chucks some dust around?
baby powder is highly effective.
Oh yeah.
That's true. Yeah, maybe they pulled a LeBron James.
I hope that was a one take because you have to keep putting baby powder on somebody. I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I was working with a stunt choreographer a while ago, and he put baby powder on anything that was like breaking in the movie or in the scenes. Like, yeah, just put some baby powder on it. It'll look so much better. Trust me. He was right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
But I feel like you can overuse that, but also that's pretty dope. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I'd probably love
You'd
it.
be surprised. I
Right.
bet it's in
Yeah.
all the movies. Baby
They just have a counter stocked with
Yeah.
baby powder on top for you.
Oh man.
Let's talk about Smith though, since we're in that fight. He's actually like, now that I thought about it, he's actually one of the best villains in movies, I would say. Like he's a really solid antagonist to Neo.
Very solid.
And like he's one, Hugo Weaving's a great actor. He's great in everything he does. But
Mhm.
two, he's got such a good voice.
Mm.
And like he's got very much like you can clearly tell like he's got the stature and like that man never hunches over. He's
Mhm.
always prepped and ready. I mean, he's a program, so I guess
I love
that's
the way. I
point.
think that's what really works well with him as a character is whenever he gets like punched or something, he just kind of like straightens his tie. He does that little
Right.
Gustavo from
Mhm.
Breaking Bad kind of thing where it's like I'm always poised, and it's like
Right.
Yeah.
something about that.
Like
feels
that's why
very
it's like
computer
such a
program.
moment when Neo breaks his sunglasses or knocks him off his face. He's like, "You son of a bitch."
My look is ruined.
Yeah. I think that's just casting gone right, and I think a lot of this movie, I don't know. I want to give people credit where credit's due, but at the same time, I think a lot of it just kind of came from accident.
I'm
Happy
sure a lot of
accidents.
it is luck.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think that was one of them where it's just like he just happened to be so damn good in that role,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I
if it's
think that's like a
appreciated.
lot of the like best stories or like the best parts of film is like when you have a happy accident like that. It's like that was not on purpose, but we're keeping it because that was amazing and
Yeah.
yada yada yada. So it's like those are the best parts. Those are the best stories also to tell like in the future.
Yeah. It wouldn't have. I don't think the casting in this movie was really well done. Like I think, like the alternate casting that they almost did. I mean, they almost went so stupid, like just bullshit. Like
You
big
mean Will
blockbuster
Smith,
movie.
Devin?
Will Smith. Then their second choice, I think, was like Nicolas Cage and like Russell Crowe. Like these were the kind of names that were like in here for these kind
Hey,
of roles.
Nick Cage was hot then. That was like
No.
when he was like
Oh
an
my God,
actual
it
actor
would've-
and not
I mean-
just
Nicolas
trying to
Cage
get
is
out
the
of
best way
Honestly,
to ruin a movie.
It wouldn't have been. He wouldn't have been like much different from Neo, but I think I think like Keanu Reeves is way more likable than Nick Cage. I
Yeah.
don't know. So
I
like,
also think he can like Keanu Reeves clearly would do the stunts better than Nicolas Cage. I
For,
feel.
Yeah.
for people that
But-
can't see me right now, I'm shaking my head real
Yeah.
fucking hard.
But like-
Nicolas Cage
but-
would not be able to do
but-
any of this nonsense. In
but
the
be-
He could not be in the Matrix.
but just being said, though, guys, if you need a bewildered looking guy to just kind of be like,
Oh my
"Whoa,
God,
like, what
Nicolas
is this?"
Cage
Nick
could
Cage
so
is
have been
definitely
a
your number
Smith.
2 pick over under Keanu Reeves. It's Keanu Reeves and Nick Cage. That's number 2. So
I
like,
could see him more as a Mr. Smith than Neo.
He could have been he probably would have been a really good like over the top Smith.
I think
now that think about it.
homeboy that played Smith, I forget his name. What's his name?
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, he's ultimate, but I think
Yeah.
Nick Cage would have done okay.
I think I agree with that. I didn't think about that, but that's not a bad choice. I'm here for it.
He would have been a great Smith, right?
You sold me on that one. I'm here for it.
I mean, my hot take is that I think I don't think the Matrix would have been the same if Morpheus had been casted differently. I think Lawrence Fishburne was the perfect
Yeah,
person
he's
for that
great.
role
He's
because
a
I
great
think they were looking
Morpheus.
at Gary Oldman. I think maybe it was Russell Crowe for that role
they had
too.
Val Kilmer in there.
Val Kilmer, yeah. So like any of those people, it just would not have hit the same way. But like Lawrence Fishburne, just like he hit it so perfectly as like this
Yeah.
kind of like religious, officer who's like, I don't know, in charge of the movement, whatever, like somebody you can lean on. And that was like, I mean, he was just perfect. So I even think even with everybody else the same, I still don't think the movie would have hit the same way without him.
Right.
he's definitely
he's
the
got,
center. Like, I think one of the best scenes of him for me in the movie was when he wasn't really like talking that much. It was outside of the Matrix in the real world when they're about to set off the EP for I think the first time, and there's like a sentinel machine chasing after their ship or whatever, and they park and they're like shutting off the power and about to like blast the EMP. And Morpheus sits down and like he pulls out like a little hat
Oh.
because he normally doesn't wear anything on his head. He pulls out a hat, and I had to rewind. I was like, "What is he
You
putting?"
mean his
And
do-rag?
it's like no, it's a black beret, like a French beret.
Yeah, no, it
And
looks
I'm
like a
yeah.
"Oh,
military
shit."
beret, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, the whole time, all of everything he's saying to Neo and instructing him, he's like, we have to fight the machine. It's a system. Like we can't let the system take over. We have to be the ones to stand up. He's like rebelling. He's fighting
Right.
against the man, the machine. It's very very black power. And it seems like
Yeah.
when he puts on the beret,
Do you think that's why
it seems
that
he
was
seems
the
like
choice
he's like
to
a,
do
he's
that?
like a
Yeah.
Black Panther. He's standing
Yeah.
for all the ideals that a Black Panther would have stood for.
Interesting.
at the
It is
time.
funny that
like
he
that.
never wears that ever again, though.
It did feel goofy. I mean, that also.
Yeah.
I
It was a
think
little
that's
weird,
why-
but I feel like he's like, all right, it's time to get like absolutely serious. Like
Right,
when I'm
my
in the
serious hat on,
Matrix,
guys.
when I'm in the
Serious
Matrix,
time.
I'm not gonna put on the hat. But here in the real world, like I got my hat with me. Like if I'm gonna
Right.
go out,
Let's do this.
I'm gonna go out
Right.
as the Panther. I fucking
That is
am.
actually really cool. I never thought about it. that
Happy
way.
Morpheus
mean,
is gone, guys. Serious Morpheus is here now.
It was also very like
Nobody
Pokemon
fuck around.
Ash Ketchum when Ash turns
Oh,
his
yeah.
head back, it's like, all right, Pidgeotto.
All right, guys, CMP time. Everybody, shut the fuck up. Get down.
Of course, he turns his hat backwards just to fucking put out Pidgeotto. It was like level
Right.
12. But it's like, God damn it, dude. He's
Level
gonna get his
12.
ass beat. No, but I agree with you 100%. I think that's where this movie really shined as just a one note. I kind of don't wish it was a trilogy
I hear
for that
that.
reason. 'Cause I think as a
absolutely.
one standing like movie, so many notes in this movie are just so strong. And I think one of those was the casting of people of color in this movie. Less so in the first one, than more so in the other two. But the fact that they were putting important characters in 1999
Hell
and
yeah.
making them black in what would be considered a white movie. I mean, cyberpunk is, for people that know the cyberpunk genre, is very whitewashed, for lack of a better word. That it's I mean, it's a very white dominated area. So to have a black dude be one of the main characters in this movie was huge. It was
Right.
next level. So I don't know. I love that. And then the Black Panther aspect added onto it just adds that much more focus to the rebellion. Is more than just white dudes feeling weird about hacking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
I just love it.
I mean,
It's good.
It's cool. Yeah, they were definitely like the Wachowskis were clearly like just like had so many ideas that like it's so crazy that they were able to get this many in
Yeah.
in 1999 without the studio being like, we can't do that. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are you talking? Will Smith was huge at the time, so I imagine that the studio would have been fine with having Will Smith as their lead because he was the Fresh Prince. He was
And
That
he
was
was
his time.
their first choice, right?
right. So I'm sure it would have
That
been
would have been weird.
like the studio would have let that go, but it's crazy that they were allowed so much diversity in this first movie in 1999 on a property that had no prior. Like there was like this is the first one, and they were like, all right, we'll give you all this money, go for it.
This is back in the day, man, when new IPs were okay. We were
yeah,
still
before
willing
2008.
to give
Oh
money
my
to them.
gosh.
I'm just
Yeah,
like,
it
honestly,
wasn't
I'm
just
glad.
nostalgia.
I'm glad they didn't cast Will Smith for Neo in this, but because Will Smith has too much charisma for this. I feel like it's better.
Oh
to
hell
have
no!
Neo. Like, I feel like it's
You
better.
mean
to
you
have
don't want
Neo just
that
kinda
in the
be this-
Matrix, Devin?
This clueless idiot to just kind of be walking around. Like it was more about, because if Will Smith is Neo, then it's more about Will Smith. The movie's more about Will Smith, right?
Yeah.
But because it was Neo, and he's just kind of this like
He's like a blank slate.
a blank slate. That's
right,
exactly.
exactly.
Like you can build the world around him better, and then he's just kind of like there. Like he's there to move the story, but he's not exactly like he doesn't need to have that charisma that Will Smith would have brought. It would have been a much different movie. Maybe I just think it wouldn't have hit the same way.
Will Smith as a hacker, first of all, they have to change the script completely for that. Is the same as Mark Wahlberg in the fucking fourth Transformers being a scientist.
I'm an inventor.
Mark Wahlberg,
I'm an inventor.
a scientist.
I didn't even think about
Wahlberg.
that. That's what I do wonder, because they were like, Will Smith was our first choice. I was like, was this your first script though? Because like I can't imagine that Will Smith would have read these lines without be like, yo, I need to tell more jokes. I need to be funnier. I need to do all this other stuff, or like I'm Will Smith. Like,
And also all the there's a whole bunch of language about like the humans being slaves to the machines and stuff,
Right.
that Morpheus is like instructing Neo. But if the roles were reversed and Morpheus was a white guy, and
like if Morpheus was Val
Will
Kilmer
Smith
and Neo
was Neo,
Will
like
Smith.
that would be really uncomfortable, I think personally.
That's a
to
weird
watch.
scene.
Mhm.
And maybe that's what they wanted to do originally, which is why they wanted that was their casting choice. Maybe they were trying to shed some light there or something. I don't know.
To Detroit Become
There's a
Human.
lot of allegory in this movie that we'll talk about, and maybe that was just another layer that they wanted to put in. I don't know.
Let me tell you,
it does
I'm glad,
change that
I'm glad
scene
it
a
worked
lot.
out the way it did. 'Cause I don't think it could have gotten better.
Would have been
the
much
casting they
different.
had.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it would have been a lot weirder if the races were reversed in that scene, at least.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that would have been weird. But it also would have been like where a black guy is the one. He's the one that saves everyone. So that would have been
That's cool.
a different. Also another. So it would have been pretty sweet.
I do
so,
love
yeah.
that.
Exactly. So it's like it would have been a very different movie. I think we're all in agreement there. It would have been a very different movie if Will Smith was.
I just wish, like, if this was a standalone, I'm glad that the other two were made mainly for like Niobe, because I just love Niobe as a character, and I wish there was more.
We're not talking about her. Shut up.
Yeah. But anyway, just saying.
That being said, Jada Pinkett Smith did do a good job. I will give you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about the Oracle. She's probably the biggest like what the fuck kind of part of this first
Can
movie.
we talk about her cookies for a second? Because them shits did not look that great.
No, they looked awful.
You're
They
supposed
looked
to be the
terrible.
perfect program that knows everything, but you don't know how to make a fucking cookie.
Yeah.
You don't know how to put
It's
water.
They were
in
like
it.
She said, "Here,
oatmeal.
eat this
Were they
cookie.
like oatmeal
I promise
cookies
you'll
too?
feel better afterwards." I'm like, nah, he's not gonna feel much better after he eats that. Like, did you hear that? I heard it from over here on my couch, and it was loud as
Them
hell.
shit's dry as hell. She grandma got cookies. She black grandma. Of course black grandma got cookies. What you mean, bro? Black grandma don't got no fucking salad.
Yeah, you know in real life she did not make those cookies. Those cookies came from the store, and
Yeah,
they
those are
ran
not
out-
black grandma
Those were-
cookies.
Nah, no way.
Those are rocks.
Yeah.
Those
Horrible,
Walmart cookies.
horrible
Those were
cookies.
prime cookies.
Honestly, like I feel like you have to question the advice she's going to give you if she can't, you know. If her cookies are pretty bad. Like if Neo walks in the room and he's like,
I'm not the fucking one. Look at those fucking cookies. I'm the one.
It's like, oh,
What
you're
kind
going to
of
have to make a
advice do you
choice.
have?
It's like, okay, I mean, I'm going to choose to not eat that cookie, first of all. And the second choice I'm going to make is to walk out of this damn room and just go live my life. Because you are obviously full of shit. Like,
When that little boy told me there was no spoon, that's all the advice I need. Thank you.
yeah.
Right.
He
That
probably
boy had
could have
better
made a
advice
better
than you
cookie than
did.
those damn cookies. I mean, damn.
Aw.
Speaking of that little boy, I want to talk about like so clearly like all of those kids are all potential ones, right?
I think so.
That's what those groups of kids are. They're just like
Any of them?
she's just collecting. She's like, oh, back to Pokemon. She's just collecting
catching
all
them
these
all.
kids like Pokemon. And be like, I need to find the one.
I wanna be the very best Oracle in the Matrix.
I mean, I guess it all goes back to the Oracle is kind of supposed to be the computer program that finds what makes humans and try to figure out like what's their story and what's their shtick that kind of makes them different. Why the Matrix is the way the Matrix is. So I guess this is her just collecting information and like, well, these
Right.
kids are like, they know some shit that not a normal human should know, but like maybe they're not good enough to maybe
Right.
fix it.
I mean, like,
Also, they're children.
Her
so-
purpose
Yeah,
was
right.
to
Bald-headed
her
kids.
purpose was to analyze them, right, and try to figure out why they kept on getting the error, the anomaly of the one. But then her personality, her actual true motive from her heart was to end the war and have both machines and humans live in harmony, right? But her like job was to like make
I guess
to like
so.
study them
It's
to
weird
make
because
sure
she's also still a program.
Right. So
Yeah.
how does she have an ulterior motive, but at the same time she did have an ulterior motive. So it's weird.
right.
But
It's-
Oracle,
it's a-
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's a really interesting thing, especially in that first movie when it comes down to it, because it's like, what is she? What does she know? Why is she here? And why is she trying to help us, despite being? And I mean, even in the first movie, you knew that she was not human. She was not a
Right.
human.
It's like why do we trust this computer program? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But like but after that, after the Oracle comes to the picture, she basically just takes over the whole plot because it's like, oh well, the Oracle told us we had to do this, so we have to do this. Oh well, then she told us that this was going to happen, so now this is going to happen. So it kind of like it was a
Right.
way to make the characters like put them in the situations where they knew they kind of knew they had to be in or whatever until the very end.
Yeah, that's true. She's got a lot of exposition and a lot of she does tie that whole plot into everything basically.
It's like Mouse, what did she tell you? Well, she told me I was going to like make this program with like
Oh,
this porn
no.
star, and or like the program.
Poor mouse. Poor mouse.
That man
and
was
then I'm
real
gonna get trapped
hype.
in a building and then I'm gonna die.
She told me she only
But
said
you
one
go
word
out
to me.
looking
She said
cool.
brick. What does that mean?
Yeah,
Brick
yeah.
wall.
Oh.
Yeah, why does Mouse look like fucking Logic?
Oh,
Does he not? I was like, yo, Logic
Also-
going out guns blazing. Let's remake this movie, dude. We got
Dude.
the character for it.
He had the coolest
funny.
looking guns. He had like those. They had like rings over his hands, and he.
the bear
and
he
we
looks,
didn't even get to see them be used. Like they never even
Yeah.
shot.
I mean he
anybody. I
used
was
them for
damn.
like 0.5 seconds.
That's
Yeah.
just this movie. There are some really cool characters I just don't think they utilize enough. I just think that was just them having a ton of lore and just not having enough screen time.
Right.
To
Yeah.
at all. Because it's like that, and then Switch as
Right.
well. I thought was super cool, and then nothing happened with Switch really either. Switch just
Switch
did one
and
thing and then died. And said,
the
"Not like
other
this."
guy that I don't remember.
Not like
his
this.
name.
There's a lot of characters.
No,
Rojas,
Yeah.
Rojas, Tank,
his name?
Dozer, Switch, Morpheus,
Right.
Trinity,
Tank was my
and
motherfucking
fucking
man.
Cypher.
I actually really liked Tank in this movie, and spoiler, he's not in the other two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's really good in this movie. Like he's charismatic and he's likable, and
He
it's like
definitely-
Mhm.
he's really good, and it's a shame that he's not in the other two.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about that. But he's really good. Him and Dozer are good, and
think Dozer's
they
amazing.
do provide a good note that they're born in Zion, so they weren't. That's why they got no plugs, they got no holes in their
plugs.
body.
So how does that work? How does aging work when you're in Zion compared to not in Zion? Because Dozer looked like an old motherfucker. That's a 37-year-old
Well, I'm assuming
man right
like
there.
people that are born in Zion just grow up like normal humans.
Yeah.
And then I think in the pods they grow up the same way. So like I think they grow up in the pods to a point where because the machines say they liquefy humans to feed the other pods. And so maybe like they liquefy them when they get to an age where when they either die in the Matrix, they liquefy them, or they like get old and they then liquefy them.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think you grow in that pod like you would a womb as you grow in the Matrix as well, which is why Neo's the same age as he is in both.
Dozer could have actually just lived 37 years in Zion, whereas Keanu
100%.
Reeves was 28 years in the Matrix. And
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they've been on Zion for who knows how long, at least.
Right, yeah, because they
100
say
years, I
it's
guess.
closer to 2199. Morpheus says they don't even know the year, but it's closer to 2199 at least. So it's been like 200 years.
Since
So yeah, that's
1999.
But like honestly though, if you were in this world, I would definitely want the plugs because then you can learn stuff like immediately. Like all these Zion fucks, they're just regular ass people. Like, oh, you want to learn French? Guess what? I just learned it 5 minutes ago.
When you learn something in the Matrix, when you're jacked in and you learn kung fu or how to fly a helicopter, do you still
don't
have that
know it in the
skill
real
in the
world.
real life?
No,
I don't think you do.
I feel like the languages.
Spoiler for
You know the
for
languages.
the later movies. Keanu Reeves can't fucking fight in the other two.
Okay, that's true.
His ass beat.
Oh, yeah.
But what if it's
true.
something
He gets
that's
his
not
ass beat.
physical? Like, I get it. Like, the Matrix is like a physical realm where physical things like gravity don't matter. But what about like if you're learning a technical skill or like another language?
That's fair.
It's totally
Yeah, like
it's totally in
that's
your
what I'm
brain,
saying.
right?
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like languages.
Yeah,
I feel like
maybe.
you would keep, but I don't know. They don't really get into that because there was a lot of potential
Yeah,
in
that'd
that
be really
like
cool.
little plot hole. Like they could have taken the plot so many different ways with that, but they don't really use that.
Right. That is
They just use it for I know kung fu. I know kung fu.
No,
But, like-
I mean, I feel the same way only because Zion sucks and you have to eat porridge all day, and that porridge look gross as fuck.
Yeah, that food is
Ugh.
not great looking.
So I get why Homeboy wanted to eat steak. Like,
Egg
Yeah,
whites
just
and-
jack me in. I'll eat a steak
Oh,
and then just
fucking
plug
Cypher.
me with the IV or something.
Right. So in this movie you get the computer program villain in Smith, and then you get the human villain in
Ugh.
Cypher. Man, Cypher's a prick.
Let me just go in on this guy, okay? This guy, there should be a background check for everybody that's going to be on a crew. You know, they got 13 ships. There got to be extensive background check for this crew. And number one on the
Devin's
list
getting
should be like,
political.
does your facial hair make you look kind of suspect? Because if you fail that test, which Cypher absolutely fails, this guy would not be in a position to fuck everybody else over. But this guy literally has
he looks
the like
seedy off the bat.
musketeer villain. Like he has every villain facial hair of all time. He's like, Morpheus is going around introducing the crew. Oh, Roja, Switch, Mouse, Trinity, and Cypher.
This weird motherfucker.
Like Cypher's here. He's another guy, and everybody's just like, like fuck. And like every conversation he has with Trinity is just like, can you just like, he just creeps her the hell out. Like, just get the fuck away from me, man. So like, I don't know, man.
Right.
Background checks. Like, get this guy.
He is
off
really
this
lucky
crew.
that Neo couldn't read the Matrix when they have that scene when he gives him he makes him drink gasoline basically, and because like anyone else approaches to be like, Cypher, why the fuck are you talking to agents in this restaurant having a steak? What the fuck? What are you doing?
True. Though honestly, though,
But,
Cypher, I feel like does represent like, that because the whole thing is about like reality and stuff. It's like, okay, like if this was the real reality and you had the chance to like create whatever reality you wanted, would you take it? And he's like, yes, obviously, but I don't want the guilt, so I want to forget everything beforehand, and that way I'm just living in bliss. So it's like the whole,
Right.
I guess his whole character is like ignorance is bliss, and like, I'd rather just not.
Well,
deal
he
with
says
it.
that line when he's trying to justify, where he's like, I was a slave in there, and now I come out here and I just do everything.
Yeah,
he
I
tells
just
me
follow
to do.
orders.
He's talking about Morpheus, and just like, so I'm like, he's got a point, but like,
If he
you're doing it
wasn't-
all wrong, bro.
Yeah, if he wasn't more one note as a character, like if he wasn't, like you said, made to look like a fucking snake, like
Right.
he makes
Right.
a good point. Like if you were given the choice, like right now, we don't know if we live in the Matrix or not. That's a whole thing, whether or not we actually do. Like,
Do we?
if you were given the opportunity with what seemingly is no strings attached, getting everything that you want, would you not take it?
Mhm.
Like, what would be your reason to not do it? Like, I can go outside
Right.
and life sucks, or I can be here and life doesn't suck.
Right.
Like,
Right.
that's a very
Right.
Killmonger and Black Panther kind of approach to things
Yeah.
where it's like, I'm just trying to live a better life
Mhm.
Right.
when it comes down to it. And
Yeah.
I can get that. That's totally in life, especially because the movie is very capitalism heavy, very, against the man kind of heavy. When you're
Mhm.
trying to fight the man, some people are okay with being the man if the man means that you exist in a happier life than you already have.
Right. If you can't beat
Yeah.
him, join him.
Right. Exactly. That's the whole
Right.
Damn.
I'd like to
purpose.
see like a poll,
Sadly, yeah.
like see like out of like 100 people, how many people would pick Cypher's choice? I don't know. Yeah, it depends.
I wouldn't. I'd be Neo.
But
Yeah,
we
I
say
think I would take the red pill if I could be Neo. Like, tell me I'm the one.
Only if I'm
could
the
be
one.
I got you.
I don't want to be Mouse.
if I'm just one of the many crewmates in the Matrix that's just there to die, then hard pass.
might pass on that.
They are all-
I'd be like,
First of
I
all,
want to
guys.
see the Oracle first, and then I'll decide.
Yeah.
I'm gonna upset everybody here. First of all, only 1% of the people end up actually getting past the Matrix and getting out. And then on top of that, what is that? 0.00001, because one person is gonna be the fucking, the one.
Right.
We're all gonna be.
I'll even be
normal-ass
the Spoon
people.
Boy. I'll take Spoon
Right.
Boy.
We might be the normal ass people, maybe, and that's a small. That's the 1% is the people that are just outside of the Matrix.
Yeah.
And then there's a 1% of the 1%, and that's Neo.
We're just gonna
We
be the
in
ones
the Matrix living stupidly.
Yeah.
Realistically.
But at least we've seen the Matrix, so maybe we're a little bit more aware.
We say that, but look
Right.
at the world the way that it is now. I don't know.
We're still
We don't
plugged
got to
in.
go that far into it, but
Yeah.
we've learned that most people are totally okay with being the Empire and not being the Rebel.
yeah.
Real quick, I want to talk about that dope ass helicopter scene where they save Morpheus because
Ooh.
that's all practical and it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Is
that
it
was
really
so
all
cool.
practical? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they really shot and fired a minigun and all those bullet casings. I'm pretty
They
sure.
Real
Man,
helicopter
that is
and everything.
crazy.
They were really flying.
They shot.
I don't know about the helicopter being real, but like they made it look like he's in a helicopter, and but that the minigun is real,
Ma-
Oh, wow.
and the bullet
Jeez.
casings are all real. I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
shit!
That whole part was good because it's like, the whole movie, they're like, oh, you can't fight agents, you can't beat them. It's like, well, what about this minigun? It's like, oh, well, that can absolutely wreck the fuck out of those agents. Like, it's like, oh, why don't we just use like some tactical shotguns? Like, yeah, that would probably work too. So it's like, there are ways out there,
Dodge this.
and you have all the weapons in the world. So why don't you just have a handheld minigun and just take that with you everywhere you go? And the agents are fucked.
It's
like,
true. Why don't they? Yeah, you'd think that they would just be like, can we just get a helicopter and a minigun every time?
They just got
I
like
mean,
the
the fact
sleek,
that you have
sexy
all the
weapons.
weapons on the Earth and you always pick pistols is pretty fucking stupid.
Right.
why don't they just like load up a tank?
Like if Mouse had a minigun, then he probably would have
He might,
survived.
he might have been okay.
In
Hey,
Grand
you know-
Theft Auto, you always pick the rocket launcher. Like, come on now.
You know what ends that whole scene a lot quicker? An Apache helicopter, just like an attack helicopter that Neo and Trinity just pilot it, and they just blow up the entire building except for Morpheus somehow, who miraculously doesn't take a single hit from that minigun. When
Right.
Neo's just like blindly firing it into the room
It's-
like in a circle.
Right. It
It's
is
like,
kind of
I-
a miracle
I-
that he
he's
doesn't
somewhere in
kill
there.
Morpheus.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's using his abilities to stop.
He's using the Force.
bullets.
I was gonna say that, but I was wrong
Neo's a
with it.
Jedi.
Yeah.
Basically, he basically is.
Real quick, at the end, they launch an EMP, but earlier in the movie, we get one of the very few times where they describe what an EMP is so that the dumb
Oh,
audience,
man.
because we're all so fucking dumb, know what it means. And then that continued on for about 15 more years.
What's an EMP?
Oh, never heard of it.
Oh
It's
my
just
god,
so
it's so
goofy
annoying.
because it makes
It's
no
so-
sense when this man is a notorious hacker that of course
Yeah.
knows a lot about technology and
He's real
computers and
dumb.
stuff. And it's what's an EMP? What?
Right.
That's what I mean.
It's
Yeah,
just-
that's just like one of those moments of like dumbing it down for the audience. Which I mean, they did a lot. They did that really well in this movie of like explaining how the Matrix works and stuff. But that's just one of those things where they just like straight up definition. Then they do
Yeah.
that a lot.
It was a
of
miss.
I feel like
It was a mess.
nowadays they probably wouldn't have had that explanation for an EMP.
Yeah,
But
Now we
given
just
that it's
know.
1999, like people weren't. That wasn't
Right.
such a popular thing in like video games and sci-fi films. But nowadays you see it like all the time, so no one's gonna
Yeah.
explain what an EMP.
But I don't know. Marvel's like well known for being the kind of place that they love to over explain jargon in
It's
a
'cause they're-
meeting room.
You're right.
They do that a lot.
but there's an EMP in Captain America: Civil War, and I don't think they explain that it's an
All
EMP.
those movies.
I don't
took
think they
place
do.
post
Oh,
Matrix.
I don't know.
It's
Mhm.
not if those movies came out in 1999 or 1998, they might have.
Yeah, true.
For sure.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, back then, yeah. But no, okay. So, but while we're on the subject, though, we got to let's talk about that lobby, the lobby shoot scene. That was
Ooh,
probably the most. That so many bullets, like, and I feel like Neo goes through like 3 sets of guns before he actually hits anybody.
They
Like he's like
bring like 3 duffel bags with them.
like
Duffel bags full of bullets and guns.
so many
Yeah.
bullets. I feel
It's
bad for the
pretty
security
like
guards,
they
man. They just
fucked that lobby up.
You know, watching it again
Yeah.
as an adult, that's the one scene. I mean, the whole thing's pretty violent, but that scene is like, I feel like takes a step towards like too violent, if I dare say.
No, man, they're all computer programs. It's fine. It's like zombies and robots.
I know, but like, I don't know, something about me, it was just like, oof, like those were innocent people. Like they were just
It
doing
is,
their job.
Were they computer
Yeah.
programs? They were people in the Matrix, were they not?
Those
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
they're-
That's true.
I mean, but
Those
they were
man, they's dead.
like computer programs or real people. In the context of the scene, they weren't doing
Oh, no.
anything but standing guard. They could have just walked in there
Right.
and been like, listen, guys, you need to get the fuck out of this room.
Yeah, but then an
Shit.
agent takes over their brain, and then they got more
They
problems.
didn't give
Yeah,
them
I mean-
1 second. They didn't give them
Neo-
1
12
second.
yeah.
$12 an hour.
It's true.
Neo was not
Neo
asking
just
any
puts his
questions.
fucking
They
hand
didn't
in his
have
palm
time
in
to
his
call
chest.
home or nothing.
But that part where he walks through the metal detector and it goes full red, and he's like, "Can you please remove any metal items?" That was funny as hell when he just like takes his
I mean,
coat off.
it's
So
pretty
like-
cool, and he's
That's
just like,
a LOL
"Holy
moment for
shit!"
sure.
So many guns, and then they just light up that one dude for like with so many bullets. It's like, geez, just chill out, guys.
2 magazines worth of bullets for this one
Yeah,
guy.
for
making
one guy with like
$12 an hour in his fucking
he has like
security
a
job.
6-shooter revolver. It's like, geez, chill out, man. Just
Well,
like
honestly,
you know,
it's that scene that really made me feel like there was kind of a turning point in the nation, like with Columbine and all the school shootings. Like
Right.
I know it's really sad to say, but I had to bring it up. Like I
Yeah.
feel like
No,
a
yeah,
lot
no,
of
it's
those incidents were, for lack of a better word, inspired by this movie, which is a shame
Right.
because it's a great
Yeah.
film. It's a great text for like philosophy and a lot of like really beautiful elements, but the violence in it is definitely impactful, and sometimes it impacts the wrong kind of people the wrong kind of way.
Yeah.
I think
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the unfortunate aspect of media, media as a whole. When we do have a lot of media that does involve like violence and acts of harm to others, is that when you are crazy, and crazy is a belittling word, but when I come down to it, if you have some kind of mental illness that makes you think that that's okay, when you see these kinds of things, you want to act it out. That's not a normal thought process for a normal human being. We've all played Grand Theft Auto. I don't think any of us has ever wanted to drive a car into other people and then also beat them up and then shoot them. But if you aren't in the right mind state, that might affect you in that way. And this movie was definitely one of those kind of movies that kind of did it
yeah, I mean, if you
Right.
take
in that kind of
if you
place.
take it the wrong way, I feel like and that's usually how these those things go. But it's like, I think Alex is right. Like it definitely probably like just the way the Matrix did it was just nonchalant and like the trench coats and everything, and they made it kind of cool, right? And they're the good guys, and it's like you're fighting
Yeah.
against the system. So it probably, I mean, and the Matrix, might be responsible for like half the conspiracy theories out there too, because like people don't believe that that we're living in the true reality. So it's like,
Right.
I don't know, like maybe
Yeah.
there's definitely something there, but I don't know. But either way, very cool visually.
Yeah, definitely. Before we go, I want to finish this main topic. I want to bring up, since we're talking about like things that related and like influence the real world. I wanted to bring up one thing right before that people picked up on, not in 1999. Well, I bet you some people did, but more now it's been brought up more, and that's the transgender themes that are throughout this movie. As we all may know, back when this movie was made, the Wachowskis were known as the Wachowski brothers, and now they're the Wachowski siblings. They are both trans, and there are a lot of people who picked up on themes that are throughout this movie that reflect that. And Lana Wachowski, who is the one who's directing Matrix 4 coming up, she's directing Matrix 4, has all but confirmed and said that yes, that the first Matrix, or all of them, were allegories for transgenderness.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool. And also examples where like how people would bring up the examples of like the red pill going down the rabbit hole would be like red estrogen pills. and then how Morpheus says the line like a splinter in your mind when he's describing the Matrix, and a lot of people thought that was a reference to gender dysphoria. And then in the original script, the
Wow.
character of Switch was going to be a woman in the Matrix and then a man in the real world. And that would have been amazing if they had actually gone through with that. I wonder if that's a thing that the studio's like, we can't do that. Sorry. But it's like the fact that they were doing these things 20 years ago, they were doing these things, and
Yeah.
how prevalent they are now is pretty incredible. And I just wanted to read the thing that Lana had said when she all but confirmed that was the original intention, but the world wasn't quite ready. I'm glad that it has gotten out. And she said that the corporate world wasn't ready for an allegory that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning about transgender people. So yeah,
That's really cool.
That's pretty fucking cool. That you can look back at a movie 20 years ago and be like, oh wow, they were thinking about these things when no one else really was, or a lot of people.
It really just shows how this movie franchise was just so far ahead of its time when it comes down to it. Like when you really look at it, like this movie, even now, I mean, this movie has themes that are still relevant to this day, maybe even more so relevant than it might have been back in 1999. Looking back at it, it's kind of just wild that it's like that shows the artistry of people that are just thinking just at a higher plane than we are.
Yeah. When they approached Lawrence Fishburne and he read the script, he said back then, he's like, this movie's too smart to ever be made. And I thought about that because I'm like, yeah, and it almost was a dumber movie with all the casting choices that they almost did. Like, Janet, they almost had Janet Jackson as Trinity. Like this could have been such a different, like watered down thing.
Romeo Must Die.
But they went for it, and I'm hopeful that with Matrix 4 that maybe the main character now will be like a younger person where they actually that is like their
Maybe
transgender thing.
Yeah.
And I'm curious
cool.
also, like going back to the gun violence thing, I wonder how they'll handle that now, and like how they'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, with John Wick existing, I don't know that it'll be that different. What I'm worried about is that it'll end up being a Disney take on like, Star Wars, where it's like the big thing about Star Wars is like the huge part about, I don't know, taking not A-list actors and making them big and just being kind of like an interesting story, and that being the big draw from it, and then getting lost in corporate, big fan AAA kind of movie nonsense that maybe makes things a little bit goofier than it needs to be. I hope that's not what happens with Matrix 4. I hope that the Wachowskis, or is it just Lana that's directing it? Is Lily
It's just
in it
Lana.
at all? Lily's not involved
it's
at
just
all?
Lana.
Is
Not
there-
that I know of. I don't
Do we
think,
know
I
any
don't think
reason
she's
why?
even producing it. No, I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
So we'll see.
Yeah. I just hope that it doesn't get lost in corporate nonsense.
Or lost
Right,
in
yeah.
itself, like either of the sequels.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
December 2021.
What if they just mindfuck us again?
Neo flies at the end to a Rage Against the Machine song, and that's hilarious.
Oh yeah, he flies away at the end. That was pretty epic.
He Superman's out, and the movie ends, and yay.
Best soundtrack. Fucking love the Matrix soundtrack. All three of them.
Yeah.
All three of them bitches.
It almost would have been better if they just left it off there, because like that it's such a hopeful ending, because it's like you think that Neo's just gonna
It's a
It's
great
true.
standalone movie.
And we'll get into that in part 2. I think that's where we'll take a turn of praising this movie like we have pretty much this entire episode to not praising it as much in the next episode. So we'll see. All right. I did also want to briefly mention the Animatrix, since we did say we talk about that for a quick second. None of it really matters except for mostly one short. It's mostly like some lore crap. The only one that really matters is the one that's like on the cover of the box, and it's the weird CG one. It's the final flight of the Osiris. Basically, it's just another ship that's doomed, and they have to deliver a message, and it's what starts the Enter the Matrix video game, which we'll talk about next week. But yeah, that's literally all it is. It's just that they show them a plan that the machines are coming. It adds a little, but most of the rest are just really weird things. I don't know what you guys thought, but like there were some good ones, some cool ones, but there's some ones where the art style and the story I really didn't care about.
Yeah.
The second Renaissance was kind of interesting because it kind of talked about what started this, because they talk briefly about it in actual movies, but this kind of showed like, why did the robots get this way? What brought us to a point where we might get to a point where they might want to
make the entire human existence extinct or use them for batteries and things like that. So that was interesting. It was gory as all hell, and there was random
Oh my
titties
god, yeah.
for no reason. They were just
Yeah, tough to watch.
but
Yeah.
it
It's very much not for children.
all
That
of it,
whole
the
story
thing.
was like too anti-human. I was like, because they were just so mean on every single front. It's like, all right, I wanted to see like a little bit more nuance in that, in the origin
But is
of
it
the war.
that
But
nuanced? Let's look at
I don't know,
humanity as
man.
it is right now and how awful we kind of are as people.
We get to
True.
see them do that stupid black sky plan, which is hilarious. But other
Oh
than
my
that,
god,
that's
so
such
humans
weak
are still
storytelling.
dumb.
I can't
Hey,
stand
you know
that
who
by-
also
at all.
needs the sun? Us.
Who the fuck?
Oh, hey, we can't grow crops anymore. There's a lot of things we can't do. And
Listen,
yeah,
the
bad
Wachowskis are
plan.
trying their best. They wrote a lot of lore. That one got lost.
They did.
They wanted. What was the reason that
Uh,
would make this look dark? So we wanted to make it gritty. So like, how about
Yeah.
how
right,
about
right,
no
right.
sun?
Yeah.
Right. I don't really know the science behind that, but whatever.
So I actually watched them all on just like on YouTube, like the Animatrix videos. Like I didn't actually watch like the real one. And the last one, it was like that trippy one where like the girl repairs the robot and then they go on this like cosmic experience. There's like 10 different versions of that on YouTube with like different like music. So I feel like if you're high,
Oh Jesus.
you just watch you watch that when you're like high, and you probably are gonna have a great time. But
Yeah.
story wise, not great. Well, I don't know if that one actually had dialogue in it because the music was the only one that played when I was watching it. But like,
It's
I don't
so
know if
dumb.
there was dialogue. I probably there might be more actual context that I'm missing out on. But
I can't remember. I remember
Yeah.
specifically not enjoying that one. I thought it was pretty boring. I think it's towards
yeah.
the end of the DVD, and it was kind of
Right.
like, I get it.
Yeah. It does introduce Kid in one of them that will be a character in the next two movies.
true,
But
true.
and it shows that he escaped without Neo. He like miraculously escaped what they call self-substantiation, is how he just freed himself from the Matrix. There's some cool shit, but it's like that one is the ugliest in my personal opinion. And none of the other ones really add to the movies in general. They're just kind of cool-ish stories, some of them. But it's like if you have an hour and a half and you have nothing else to do, I still probably wouldn't go back and watch this, but you could.
It's funny that you say that because they're so widely. It's pretty well received as a whole. That DVD, and I think it's just because people were so hungry for the lore back then. Now that we
Yeah.
kind of know everything about the story, it's less so. It's just kind of like, oh, this is anime.
Right, but yeah, I bet you the first time it's like, oh, that's cool. Now it's just like, I know, it's fine.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
but
yeah, it's kind of
worth
like
a watch. It's all right.
have you guys seen that Netflix show like Love, Death, Robots, where it's just like different studios and different
Great show.
Right, yeah.
different takes on stuff. It was kind of like that just before something like that was possible. But so kind of cool to get different like artists and different perspectives in there.
Yeah, definitely.
So
All right, that's the Animatrix. We're done with that. Moving on. I've said, I mean, we could talk about it forever, but I think we're good here. We are moving on to our final segment. It's a brief segment that we, at the point now, like to call Free for All, for being spelled Four, because we're that
Free
cool.
for all. It's the four of us.
Title pending. That's the whole title. It's Free for All, title
Wink, wink.
pending. That's what it's called. And in this segment, we just talk about one or two random things that we've done the past week. In whether it's watched a TV show or read a book or went outside, socially distant wise at the time, or saw an interesting thing or anything like that. Yeah, so that's what this segment's about. It's really just a time for us to express ourselves outside of a topic. So yeah, who wants to headline first? Who wants to go? I can go first.
you
The
go
only
first.
one- the only one that has something.
I have something. I
nominate
can go.
Oscar.
Okay.
All right, I'll go first. This week, I haven't done much. I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2 lately, actually.
Ooh,
nice.
Only because, to be brief, Destiny 2 is putting out a new expansion in a couple weeks. But with that expansion, they're basically deleting half the game that's there now.
Oh.
So basically, the main story campaign that came with the game when you first bought it will no longer exist once this new expansion comes out, and a lot of the stuff that comes with it. So I've just been going back and playing and doing as much of that stuff as I can, just cause I'm already kind of burnt out on it.
So what
to
does
be
that mean
honest.
after the expansion? There's going to be a new campaign, or just
they're just putting new content in it and taking away the old content.
They're kind of trying to condense the story because it's just been so long that the game's been out that there's so much kind of drag to get through before you get to the actual story. It's funny because a lot of games are doing that right now. So I think that's really interesting.
I hate it.
World of Warcraft did it recently too. So
World of Warcraft has the most notorious one. I remember you telling me about the giant one where they just destroyed the map.
I mean, and then they've done so much since then. So now they're just trying to delete all that because there's 120 levels at first in that game. That is a lot of levels.
My brain hurts.
That's so interesting. So they're just cutting out all the filler and keeping the bulk, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'm assuming that's what they're trying to do in Destiny, right?
Yeah, probably. They're saying they're putting it in a vault, whatever they say. So basically, it means like it sounds like it's just a way for them to charge people when they pull it out in a year and be like, look, it's all back, but you have to pay for it now or something like that. I don't know. I hope not, but yeah, who knows? That and real quick, I actually played Among Us this week.
Ooh.
Finally.
I finally played Among Us. We should definitely play it. It was actually a lot of fun.
Hearing good things about that.
We need to play it like once or twice, and I haven't played it since. It's most fun with at least 6 people.
Yeah.
We just got to set up a time and like get together and do it because that's so much fun.
That sounds great.
It was a lot of fun. That's my free for all title pending this week.
Word.
Yeah.
Well, me and my wife Bambi, we just moved into a new place here in Brooklyn. We've been here for a year, but we've kind of just been focusing a lot. I've been focusing a lot on getting like moved in and unsettled. It's like such a huge mental, physical thing. So I've just been focusing on that. It's been keeping us pretty busy. Mm-hmm. Aside from that, I've been playing a lot of music. I haven't had a lot of time with video games since we've been moving, but I've been practicing a lot of music, getting really into my guitar and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's keeping me going creatively.
You writing your own songs, or you just making some covers right now? We're gonna be a cover band.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to do a cover band. I'm just looking for like people to jam with at this point. Like I get so lonely in the quarantine.
That sounded so sad.
But honestly, I have the most fun just like improvising and stuff. I did a lot of research at the beginning of quarantine about like music theory and stuff, just trying to advance my guitar knowledge, my music knowledge. So I just have like a lot of fun just like improvising and like just jamming with myself, going off of some vibes and stuff.
Nice.
I got a looper pedal, so I just,
That's awesome.
just have at it, man. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
I'm just picturing Bambi walking into the apartment and Alex just sitting there full frog eyes with his ukulele, just like sitting there.
Yeah, man. When I'm in there for like 30 minutes or something, I just go into the Matrix, you know. Just
plug in, jack in.
I will never forget that. I will never forget when that
Moving on.
Well, that sounds incredibly productive. I did not do anything nearly as productive as that. But I did finish the show The Good Place with Kristen Bell in it.
Ooh, that was good.
I would highly recommend that show. If you do want just something that's kind of lighthearted, it's funny. It's kind of got like a Tina Fey kind of humor to it. But it's a great show. The ending is the closest thing I've probably been to crying in like 5 or 6 years.
Oh, damn.
Is
it like fully wrapped up?
Yeah, fully wrapped up. It ended, I think, the beginning of this year.
Wow,
so I just finally got to getting through that. And yeah, it's a very strong show. I was really surprised.
I was just going to say, like, shows like that, if you say it almost made you cry, I mean, the shows like that like target your emotions and they like, try to get that out of you, it works so easily on me. I'll shed like one tear.
Oh, and this one will definitely get you then.
Or you start feeling like,
oh yeah, no, it's definitely a tearjerker, but for like a good reason. Like it makes you feel good. Like it's a very interesting.
I hope so. It's called The Good Place.
Yeah, it's a good place, and you guys know the premise of the show, though, right?
Isn't it about like heaven and hell or something?
Yeah, so The Good Place is basically a show about everyone's died, and not everyone, but these people have died, and they're gone to what's considered the good place. And it's kind of like a take on like a mix between different religions and what this is actually supposed to be. And it's just a really interesting take on death and like the afterlife and kind of what that means, and if it means something to different people, and if too much of a good thing is a bad thing. And I don't know. It's just I don't want to get too into it because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a really, really strong show. And I would highly, it's 6 seasons. They're 30-minute episodes. Nice. I think there's usually 13 episodes a season. So it's not super long watch. But yeah, would recommend. Also, I played Kingdom Hearts Memory of Melody.
Ooh. Yes!
The demo. I finally played it all the way through.
Yes.
What is that? Man, that's like a music
it is a rhythm game for Kingdom Hearts.
It's like with all the music,
I never thought. Yep.
Man, that sounds dope.
I never thought I would say this because as soon as I saw that get announced, I was like, this is stupid as hell.
I told you.
I love it. I am having such a good time playing that stupid game, but it is a lot of
Oh,
fun.
I'm so happy.
I was not going
I'm
to
so
buy it,
happy.
but I am thinking about it. I'm hard thinking about
You just played the demo.
Hooked.
Check it out.
Yeah, I just played the demo, and it's
Yeah,
How does it work?
It's
Because
awesome.
you're just using your controller.
yeah, that's the worst part about it. The controller is goofy because it is a
Yeah.
controller, but it reminds me of this old game that came out for PS2. They're by the people that made Guitar Hero, Harmonix. They made a game called Frequency, and that was their first
That sounds
kind of
familiar.
look at a rhythm game.
Mhm.
And Frequency, I loved that game. Apparently, it was a cult hit, and most people hated it, but I loved it. They made a second one called Amplitude afterwards.
Amplitude.
And you had to use it was like 3 buttons on the face controller, and you had to use them and kind of hit them in unison with how they appeared on the screen. Had a lot of dope songs in it. Great game. This is hitting that same kind of itch.
That's not the game where you're that like beetle looking thing, is it?
No, it's not that game, but
Oh, okay.
it's similar. I think it gets a lot of Frequency gave, I think, a lot of that to that Biddle game to kind of make
Right.
people want to make that game. But no, this is a game that I remember I had it on demo disc at first, and then I eventually bought it, and it's so fun. It gives me those vibes. It's not perfect by
Yeah.
any means. I just say try it and see how you feel about it, and definitely try to play on the harder difficulties if you can. I think that's where the game really shines when you start playing on the harder difficulties, because then it's like it's fun. And maybe I'm just a stupid goblin brain idiot, but
No, you're
I
not
love it.
goblin brain.
No, I'm with you. I had fun playing.
it's simple as
But I
hell.
also was
Hey.
excited when I saw it. I was like, this looks awesome.
That
I was gonna be the
That's
first
what-
one to shit on it.
That's what video games need to be, man. They need to get back to that.
Just being simple and fun. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
we don't have Rock Band anymore, so
Simple
that's
and clean.
scratching the itch that I guess I needed.
Oh man, I miss Rock Band. Damn.
What about you, Devin? What you been doing lately?
Well, I don't have too much to update you guys on. Obviously, I work from home at the moment because of the coronavirus, but I'll give you one film story, one video game story. So right now, I don't have my Xbox One. I left it down at my mom's house down in Tennessee because I wanted to see because I've had it for a while. So I was like, I kind of just want to not have it, and it hasn't really bothered me, honestly, not having it. But you guys are gonna roast me. So I play
No.
when I have the one. I play Rocket League every day, every day. A few games of Rocket League. Still, since it came out in 2015, I play Rocket League. Not good at it, but I'm okay. So I came here where we have an old GameCube and a 360, and I played FIFA 11
Oh
my
no.
God.
and Mario Super Strikers, and those are the only two games
Oh
I've
my
played.
God.
They're just soccer related games.
Man, oh man.
And FIFA 11
We know
felt
what Devin
so bad.
Right.
After playing FIFA 20, FIFA 11, it felt, oh my God, it felt so old, but it was still really fun.
That's
And then,
Oh,
and yeah, Super Strikers. Dude, Super Strikers is so hard. They
Super Striker is a great game.
that is a
they
fun game.
kick your
I haven't
ass
played
though.
that in a
I'm
long
on the
time.
I'm on the third level of difficulty out of 4, and they kick your ass. If they get a
Wow.
shot off, it's a goal. It is so hard. Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
hilarious.
serious
That's
note.
good.
I watched, I mentioned earlier, I watched The Social Dilemma. I beg you guys to watch that documentary at some point. Very important issue. I feel like it's kind of on the level for me of inconvenient truth of kind of waking up to a problem that exists. And we all kind of knew that, phones kind of impact our mental health and stuff, but we didn't know why that, how it's not just our that. It's actually an engineered thing that has happened, not for any nefarious purpose, but it's having a nefarious effect. So
Well, it depends on what you consider a various purpose. It's to manipulate us and exploit us to get more money.
well, yeah.
Is that
right.
nefarious?
But they're not the algorithms aren't designed to make us depressed, but it is making us depressed, and it's making us more crazy, more radicalized, and all this stuff. So anyway, highly recommend it. It's on Netflix.
we'll
I
check
think
that
it's on YouTube as well. But yeah, it was eye opening for
Good to know.
sure. Very eye
I'll
opening.
definitely watch it for sure. I
Yeah.
love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, and it was shocking to me. I told my whole family, I was like, watch it and then turn all your notifications off on all your phone. And it was crazy. So I watched it and then I turned off notifications for Instagram, Facebook, I left my messaging on, email, left it on because, you need that. But I turned off all the superfluous ones. And as I was turning them off, like YouTube like sent me like 3 notifications, ESPN sent me notifications. It's like, hey, like, you know, please don't do it. And I was like, oh, like, I'm glad you reminded me. I'm turning you off too. Like, so turn them all off. Turn them all
weird.
off. Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this show up. Thank you everyone for listening. We appreciate it very much. Give us a rating. Give us a rating, although only give us a rating if it's going to be a good one. If you're going to give us a 1 star, just don't bother. Just it's fine. So do that. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Just play it in the background. Shout it from the rooftops. Tell people, but socially distant wise. We'd really appreciate that. You can email us at thefortressof@gmail.com. Fortress spelled FOUR. And also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at thefortressof, also spelled FOUR. Yeah, so feel free to email us or send us any messages on those with any questions you have or any recommendations for any movies or TV shows or games or books or anything like that for us to do and read or enjoy. And also send us any feedback you have on the show. We love that stuff and we really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be going through that in the future in the coming weeks. And maybe we'll answer some listener questions in our free-for-all section. And yeah, anyone else have any other handles they want to throw out there and whatnot?
I'll have to look up what mine actually is.
You can follow me at Alex as an Alien on Instagram. It's mostly photos of me and my wife and my cute puppy, but check me out.
Mine is some variation of D. Lee, something on Instagram.
No one's following Devin.
I don't know.
There's always next week, Devin. There's always next week, Devin.
I'll try it next week.
We'll try again next week. We'll do our best. You guys can, of course, follow me at its_by_the_way. That's it's with a Z instead of an S _by_the_way on Instagram. I also stream random games on Twitch at twitch.tv/bythewayx. You can also find me on Facebook for some content there. It is facebook.com/its with a Z once again, by the way, no underscore, of course.
So yeah, thank you again, everyone, for listening. We really appreciate it. And that's it. That's the first episode. We did it. And thanks for joining us all here in the Fortress of
The Matrix?
Hard cut. We're done.
Oh, fuck. God damn it, I did it again.